Hey everyone, it's Thakard and welcome back to another guide video for Sunken Land. Today we're going to be talking all about the vehicles in the game. So, let's do it. When you first start the game, you have the capability to create two different vessels. The first of those is the wooden sailing vessel. Now, this has four different seats for passengers, as well as a storage chest. It does not require any fuel, and it doesn't even require stamina. What does require, though, is wind. So what you need to do is you need to catch the wind. You turn your sail using Q and E, and you want to align your sail with the direction that this small little flag is blowing. That means that you will be catching as much wind as possible and boosting your speed as much as possible. Now this will get up to 70, 75. I've gotten it up to 80 when you're skipping across the waves, but that's the range for it generally. Now, when you are sailing into the wind, like directly into the wind, it can drop as low as 35. If you're sailing partially into it, it will settle around 40, 45. So it can be very fast or it can be rather slow. The good thing about it is when you build it initially, it doesn't take a lot in the way of resources. Plus, you can have 4 passengers, which is great for a cooperative game as a starting vessel. One bad thing about it is that it's a little difficult to park, so until you get used to it, you're probably going to wind up smashing yourself onto the shore. Thinking back to what I said just a minute ago, you have 2 different choices for starter ships. That's the first one, and this is the second one. This is the paddle boat, made out of metal primarily, couple components. It has 2 seats, has a storage container on the back. Now, the thing about this one is, once again, it doesn't take gas, and you don't have to worry about the wind. What you do have to concern yourself about is stamina, because you are actually pedaling this with those little bike pedals in the front to turn the paddle in the back. Now, when you're just holding down the W key, you're going to go about 55 to 60 kilometers. But you can hold down the shift key to start sprinting, which just means you're pumping those bicycle pedals a little bit faster. When you're doing this, your stamina is going to drop. So eventually you will get tired and you won't be able to do that anymore until you rest back up. Now, when you are doing this and going at the sprinting speed, you're going to get up to 60, 65, on up towards 70 miles per hour. So it gets you about up to the speed of what a boat going into the wind can do. It's a little bit slower, but it gets near to those speeds. That being said, you're never going into the wind where you get slowed down by the wind. So you can always achieve those speeds no matter which way you're going. Also, being primarily metal, it's very easy to make early on. All right, next up, we are going to be talking about the motorboat. The motorboat is only a 2-person boat. It does have a storage crate as well, but it is the first gasoline-powered boat. Now, the great thing about this is it has decent speed, and it also has very good fuel economy compared to the other vessels. Now, if you're just holding down the W key, it's going to max out its speed mid-80s. This speed kind of puts it on par with the best of the breezes from a sailing vessel. That being said, if you hit the shift key, which I guess puts on a turbo or something, I don't know how outboard motors work, but when you do that, you can get up to 100, 105 kilometer per hour, depending on if you're catching the waves. If you catch a wave and you go airborne, you're going to go a little bit faster. Also, being gasoline powered is actually really easy to park as well. The motorboat is a great middle of the game type of vehicle. Up next, we're going to be talking about the only single person, one seat vessel in the game. That is the jet ski. Now, the jet ski has some advantages and it has some disadvantages. One of them is that it's only single person. The second one is that it doesn't have a storage crate. That being said, it is fast. And by fast, I mean it's doing 150, 160 kilometers just pressing the W key without hitting the speed up button, which is amazing. It is also highly maneuverable. You can turn, well, about that fast. Now, if we hit the speed up key, you're going to see us just rocket up in speed. So here we go. 180, 190, 200, 210, 225, 230, 240. I nearly hit there. If it does get up in the air, it does start to go really, really fast. So it's just kind of cool to have, but it's for fast trips to places. Next up is the Jetstream Bowrider. That's this wonderful, fancy-looking multi-person vehicle. Now, I really like this one. It combines a lot of the things of other vessels. It has a storage crate, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different seating passenger positions, as well as the driver's seat for 6. Now, you generally don't have that many people in the game, but it's nice that you can have a vessel that can seat that many, or you can just sit yourself wherever you want to. The speed of the Bowrider goes up to about 120 kilometers. So that puts it in between the motorboat and the jet ski. But do remember, this has a lot more seats than the other vessels. Now, it's a little sluggish in its turns, but you'll see here that as we get going back towards our base here and I hit the speed up key, our speed is going to increase slightly. So about 15 kilometers an hour. So there we got 140. So we got about an extra 20 kilometers. If we're catching some waves and some air, we might get nearly into the 145, 150 range. But overall, it's a pretty in between. It has a little more speed, has a couple more of seating positions. Plus, it looks cool. I mean, that's its biggest thing. The last of our boats that we can make is the Marine Fast Boat. The vessel that we have in game appears to be a variation on the Naval Special Warfare's rigid inflatable hull boat, or RIB. And it's a 4-person vehicle with a storage compartment, which is quite nice. And outside of that, it's not that great. It has a top speed at just pressing forward of like 100 kilometers per hour. And when hitting the speed up button, it gets you up to about 125, maybe 130. The problem is it just drains gasoline like there's a hole in the tank. You know, you might as well just be pouring it out of the back of the vessel because it just drinks gas like nothing else. The last vehicle we're going to be looking at today will not take us to the water, but to the skies. And that's because it is the incorrectly named light helicopter. Why do I say incorrectly named? Well, because this isn't a helicopter. That clearly is a gyrocopter. Now, this light helicopter, gyrocopter, not helicopter, does have 2 seats and a storage container. It also eats fuel. My main issue with this is they either have the wrong controls for flying it or they're using the wrong model. A helicopter has a powered main rotor. This allows it to do things like vertically take off and hover. A helicopter also has a secondary rotor that allows you to turn the helicopter by varying the angle of its blades. Now, a gyrocopter does not have a powered main rotor. It has a pusher propeller, which means that you are always moving forward at a certain speed. When you are moving forward, the propeller above you catches wind and then provides lift. So, We have a gyrocopter as the visual model, but all the controls for it are that of an actual helicopter. We're able to vertically take off, vertically land. You can hover, you can turn in circles, different things like that. One of these things has to change. Now, as for the vehicle itself, like I said, two-person vehicle, chews up gas, has a container, can get up to about 200 kilometers per hour, and it's actually a lot of fun to use. That being said, it's wrong. It's inaccurate. It's wrong. And so the developers need to figure out whether they like the model to where they have to change how it operates, or if they like how to operate, in which case they have to change the model. If today's video about the vehicles of Sunkenland was helpful or enjoyable, please leave the video a thumbs up and a comment down below. The algorithm loves that type of thing over on YouTube. If you haven't yet joined the channel, please consider doing so. We are so close to our 1,000 subscriber mark, it is right around the corner. Thank you once again for watching the video, and I will continue bringing you new content and new guides as the developers continue adding to the game. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and goodbye.